Welcome, everybody, to the Nobody Entertainment Podcast. My name is Nobody Jaymes, and as always, I have with me Nobody John. John, how has your week been?
Work-wise, stressful. Home life, I don't know. The weather's been beautiful. The weather's been beautiful. I can't say that enough. So it's been
That was
good, I guess. I guess it's been okay. A balance between a stressful week at work, great weather, which I only get to enjoy on my lunch break because the old winter hours have started. I get up, it's dark. I get home, it's dark. Lucky me.
yeah, that's the
So
way. That's the way to live, right there. I guess I can't complain too much either. I came back COVID free, so I'm back to work. Yay for me.
yeah,
Um,
one of the lucky.
yeah,
That's it.
one of
That's
the
all I
lucky
got. One of
few.
the lucks.
One of the lucks. This is an interesting little thing today. I actually I went to the store. I had to do some Christmas decorating for my house, got some lights and all that fun stuff. So I had to buy new lights for the house. Went
Gotcha.
in, kind of a funny exchange with the employee of the Walmart. I I cashed out. I bought my stuff. I did it at the self checkout lane, but I bought two different kinds of lights and they didn't match, so I had to take a couple of them back. And I thought this was just kind of a humorous scenario. When I went to cash out, or I'm sorry, when I took them back to exchange them because I was going to pick up a few other items, she was like, "You just scanned the same item 4 times." I was like, "Yeah, I did." She's like, "Well, these aren't even showing up on your receipt, so basically what it's saying is you didn't even buy these." I was just like, "Well, I did. So I don't know what to tell you." She's like, "Well, you're not supposed to just scan the same item 4 times." And I was just like, in my mind, going, "Okay, just give me the reprimand. I'll sign the document and then I'll move on. You know what? I don't want to work here anyway. Fuck it. I quit."
What's wrong? Oh, did you tell her that?
No, but
It's a
it went through my
UPC
mind.
code. It's the same thing. It's not like there's like a serial number attached to those lights, those Christmas lights. If there are, I apologize. I don't think that's true. They don't have individual UPC codes for products you buy.
I just thought it was kind of funny. It wasn't even like she was telling me like, "Hey, you did this wrong," or "Hey, this mistake was made." It was like I was being scolded as if I was her employee.
Well, you're an
Like
idiot.
I've been working at
Millennial.
Walmart for 6 years. But at
Yeah,
the end of the day, really, I'm just cashing myself out, and I was just trying to make my job a little easier instead of pulling out one and boop, boop,
who does that?
boop. Nobody,
It's probably in a
nobody.
manual. There's some manual out there, and they're like, each item must be scanned individually.
You know what?
Dude,
I'm sorry.
if you go to
I
Aldi,
was sick on that day of training, and I didn't get that information. But when I'm cashing my own self out, and when I'm scanning my own products, maybe you just deal with the little bit of inconsistencies that I throw at you.
that lady would not survive at Aldi. Dude, the people at Aldi, like they're looking at it, they're like, "Oh, you got like 20 cans in that box that you pulled off that doesn't match for it." They're just like hitting a tin key, like just
I don't
throwing
care
shit
what
in
it
your
is. Just put it
cart.
in the bag.
Yeah, blah 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 blah. They're like, "Here's your total." I'm like, "That's a lot of math they just did. I don't get it." I don't, all right, paying. Here's my money. I was impressed. Whatever. If it's off by 1 can, I'm paying the 35 cents for the show. Thank you very much. I'm gonna go bag
Right.
my shit and get out of here.
I thought it was kind of funny. Just the it reminded me of an old Bill Burr uh, bit that he did in one of his comedy specials that he was just talking about. He'd walk up to one of those registers and he'd wait like 10 seconds, and if no one comes to help him, he's just like, "All right, I tried," and just leaves. So I was just like, "All right, I guess that's the way to go from there on out." But whatever, you get what you get, and you don't throw a fit. So other than that, have you had anything too exciting?
Uh, too exciting this week? Not really. I'm gonna look at cars with my brother this
Because he got into a
weekend.
wreck, huh?
Yeah, he got hit head on. He's fine. Car's totaled. He owed money on it, but he's not behind on it.
That's
So
good.
basically, he's getting a check for $700 to help go towards the down
Oh,
payment or taxes for the new car. So it sucks. It definitely sucks. Um, yeah. So that's what I got looking forward to this weekend. I'm actually gonna try to put in probably some mileage, maybe a 7 or 10 mile run, one of these days, Saturday or Sunday. So that's what I got going for me this weekend. I haven't been doing much. Been playing a little bit of that PixelJunk Monsters 2 with my wife in the
yeah.
living room. Picked that back up like a
It
mad hat.
looks it looks like you're participating in No Nut November, just by your hair, your tie, how you've got it
Oh,
loosened up. Like you just need to,
hey James,
you
I'm
need
gonna
to
let
let
you on a
off a little
little.
steam.
I'm gonna let you on a little secret. I'm married,
It's no
so there's
no nut
no nut for life.
no nut 2020. I
Yeah.
was kidding. I obviously I'm
Yeah, it's no
referring to
shave November,
shave
you
November. Yeah,
tweed.
I like it. You look good with a beard.
I
Or
shaved the neck
what
though.
do you
I was
call
like,
that?
oh,
I do the
I
same
gotta.
thing.
Well, I know I've been neck beard this whole time, but then I was like, oh, I gotta. And this podcast I gotta record for. I don't want James to make fun of me.
I hate neck beards, dude. And they look so sloppy. They
They're
never.
they're disgusting.
Yeah.
But you know
So
what?
I clean it
Shaving
up.
hurts so bad. It
Uh,
does.
Just in general.
I
Oh, that's right. You use that like single blade,
No,
like
that's not the problem, but
1984
yeah,
razor.
yeah, it's a little bit tougher with the safety razor. Definitely been close to suicide a couple of times by accident. Okay, by accident, everybody. I'm not
Sure.
suicidal. I just get a little heavy-handed on on the
I
razor.
think you just try to go too fast, right? Like even if you're just shaving the neck, how long does it take you to shave?
Well, this morning?
Just in general.
Oh, I don't know. I did like maybe 2 or 3 minutes. Give myself a little bit of razor burn. I use a soap. That's better than any shaving cream.
I don't think that's true.
That's true. Just don't use the
No.
scented stuff. You know what I'm saying? Just burn it
Adds
off.
a little irritation.
Yeah.
So I,
Wearing
I
a
guess
mask with this much hair is kind of itchy, but
I don't know. I've never had an issue. Never had an issue.
or you just don't wear masks.
I wear a mask all the time.
Yeah, you
100%.
better.
Oh, I do. Don't worry about that. So, with that being said, let's jump into what's been entertaining you. You started out with the PixelJunk Monsters 2. So, tell me a
So,
little bit about your experience there.
well, got previous experience. There's a backstory. Like anything, I have a wife. When we were dating, we used to play Pixel Junk Monsters 1, and I love that game. I had it on the PlayStation 3. I bought it for the PSP. I bought it for the PC because it was like compatible on Linux. That whole studio, they do some good games. They do good co-op couch games, and I'm a big tower defense guy. So I was like, well, you know what? I'll pick up the second one. Well, it's not Linux compatible. So I would stream it from my desktop to the living room, but it wasn't so great. Maybe it had to do with the video drivers on Steam OS, or maybe it had to do that it was on Wi Fi. My desktop was on LAN. Shouldn't have made a big difference because we don't have that many devices. I only have like 28 devices on Wi Fi. Like a couple access points, it all should have been fine. Anyhow, Steam's been really working with some partners. They collaborated with some companies, contracted them out. Proton's working real great. I was like, hey, honey, let's pick up this game again so we can get in some more mindless arguments. And so picked it up, started playing it, bashing out some games. She actually
Uh,
picked it up rather fast because there've been times where I'm like, what are you doing? You don't put a arrow tower in that tree. Clearly a cannon goes there. I don't know. There's dumb stuff like that. So, and I get yelled at for not communicating appropriately.
Well, that's just a fact. How often do you actually get into fights with your wife regarding
Today
video
was
games?
with
Not in
games.
not in life. I'm not asking for too much
I was
personal
like,
information.
today was about Taco Bell hot sauce, and I'm an idiot and can't get the right one. So
Wait, what does she prefer?
she prefers the medium hot sauce, which
So
in the
mild
past
or hot? I mean,
it's
it's very
hot. It's
clearly
hot.
labeled. It's very clearly labeled on the little bags. It's mild, hot, fire, Diablo.
I
Those are your options.
understand.
So
I understand
medium
that.
hot
She
sauce
used to
doesn't
say
tell me.
medium. I would go to Taco Bell. They would either
That
say,
doesn't
"Hey, we don't have medium." I'm like, "Okay, what's close to that?" And they'd give me mild. They would give me mild all the time, and I would get my butt hole ripped open. Hey, you messed up. So today she texts me, "Let's get some Taco Bell." So we get the Taco Bell. She puts in there and she puts quotes about hot sauce and says that's the one that you generally means for medium. And I read it as in like get the hot sauce, get the medium one, so I get the mild one, and I repeat
that's
the same
that's the way I
mistake
would have
I
read it.
always
Yep.
do, and I get my butthole reamed because I can't learn.
To be fair, I think I would start to pick up on the trends more
I
so than
know,
what they're
yes, I'm
saying.
slow.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not picking it up as fast as I should.
But
You
you have an
know,
easy solution here, John. All you have to do is get a handful of each of the sauces and just keep them in the house.
okay, yeah, that's smart. I can't learn the sauce that she wants. So how smart can I be? I'm just gonna have to get on
Uh,
like Amazon. I'm gonna Amazon. Can I get like Taco Bell? All right, Taco Bell. Hey, I'm dumb. Can you? I buy a box of your hot sauce, please.
just why would you buy it? You can buy the bottles for the record,
I
which
don't want the
for
bottle.
me,
If I get the
yeah,
bottle, oh, I mean, like that's more environmentally friendly. Now that I think about it, that might be something that I opt for. So
yeah, or you could just grab handfuls upon handfuls of the
I don't
packets.
even. You can't even grab them. They dump them into your bag. They're
Oh
like, this
yeah,
stuff is about to expire. Here you go.
I'm tempted to take a little road trip. I'll be right back. You know what? You talk to the people. I'll
Are
be
you gonna
back in two
gather up
seconds.
all the hot sauce you have?
I'm gonna show you how much we got on the last trip that we took to
The
Taco Bell.
last
So
trip. Don't mix.
just the last trip.
Don't. We'll
I'll be right back.
know. We'll know if you grab more than one trip's
I'm not
worth.
mixing matching. I'll be. This is. Oh, I mean, you'll see.
Well,
Just
hurry up.
tell them about what kind of coffee you're drinking.
Well, my sweetie pie works at Starbucks, and she brings home coffee. I don't care for the way they brew their coffee at Starbucks. I think it's oily. I don't know if they scorch it because it's too hot or something. I just don't like the way it tastes. And I'm not a frou-frou drink guy. I mean, like, if it's hot out, I'll get a vanilla frappuccino with 4 shots of espresso, please. But generally, I'm just a black coffee kind of guy. Speaking of black, I'm white. Well, back,
Was
Mr.
it an
Mr. Jaymes.
entertaining
Welcome,
story?
welcome black
Okay.
to. Yeah, you're gonna have to
This
cut
is
a lot
just
of
the
that
last
out.
trip. This is just the last trip. Okay. Now, I just want to be clear before I put it on camera that I asked for hot sauce.
Yeah, it's all hot sauce, all taco hot sauce. There you go. That's hot sauce.
This is how much they gave me, and almost all of these are mild. I
Oh,
didn't
I
ask
see
for
a
mild
hot. There's a
sauce.
hot there.
There are the ratio. This is I ordered 12 items for like my entire family, and
We're like
a
four of them. Those cinnamon swirls.
actually I did get 4 of those. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
not no,
and you're not
just
gonna
3.
put hot sauce on those, are there?
No. So I got no. I used there was
8.
more. There was more, but I used the hot sauce. So I have
Yeah.
4 hot sauces to this many mild sauces, and I just want to again be clear. I didn't ask for mild sauce at all. So you want to talk about eco-friendly and saving a nickel or two? Maybe they could be a little bit more
They might be able to
conservative.
give their employees a raise if they just were a little bit more conservative on dishing out those packets.
It's ludicrous. I apologize for leaving, but I think I had to prove a point, and I'm talking directly to you, Taco Bell, because I know that out of the 7 or 8 to 15 people that actually watch this podcast, at least 2 of them work at Taco Bell.
At least
So,
2 of them eat at Taco Bell. So
I think 80% of America eats at Taco Bell, literally for at least 1 to 2 meals per day.
yeah, yeah,
I
for
had
sure.
Taco Bell tonight, so
You
I'm
did
lying.
too?
I did. I'm lying to a degree. This is not the amount that I got from tonight. There
Fake
were only
news.
6. I know there were only 6 packets in the bag tonight, and I used those packets. Um, so it was the last visit I made. At least I came clear, you know.
Yeah, I mean, like I probably got as many of those on this trip right now. I'm not even lying. They gave me a ton. I used 4 packets for my 3 tacos and my chicken quesadilla. My wife probably used 2 of the
So what
misbegotten.
did you get yourself? Did you get yourself the hot or the mild?
Oh, I get the fire.
Oh, okay. So you get what you want. She just doesn't get what she wants.
No.
Well, so since what's been entertaining you is Taco Bell, that's the fun part, right?
Is that the fun part? That was
I
very
guess.
stressful. It was a very stressful ending to
You
the fun part,
transitioned
apparently.
you transitioned directly from PixelJunk to Taco Bell hot sauces.
Well, we brought in the argument
Get
thing.
squeaky. Don't
Yeah,
get
I know.
squeaky.
I know. I'm still sore about it, all right? I'm a little on. Give me a break.
Yeah.
Anyway, Pixel Junk Monsters. It's a great couch game. I think you and I need to play it. I don't know if the couch service we can play on there because I know you like tower defense games. The 3D aspect of it is cute. The um, viewpoints. I think somebody messed up on uh, you know, hey, there's a tree in your way and you really can't tell where you're at, or the screen doesn't zoom out appropriately. I think they kind of get a little bit too fancy. So I really do suggest always PixelJunk Monsters 1. It's a great game. PixelJunk Monsters 2. Pick it up if it's on sale. It was $3.99, and I'm disappointed that you didn't pick it up, but it's okay. I know.
We just don't
And
have
don't
time.
roll
We
your
just don't
don't
have
roll.
time.
We have all the time. All
We
right,
have
James, what
no.
do you got? What do you been batting at? I heard you got a new console. You're picking up that RDNA 2. Your wife is a little concerned. She was talking about how you talk to it. It's kind of weird. Tell me more. What's going
Wait,
on? Are you
what am I
breaking down?
talking to?
Talk to your console. So that's a little disturbing.
I've never had a conversation with my console. I did.
I love you, baby. I love you so much. Treat me
It
so
is
well.
interesting. It is interesting how they work like that. Yeah, I've got all kinds of fun stuff I've been playing with. Obviously, I've got the PlayStation 5. Um, Picked up a small plethora of video games, and I'll start with the ones that I've played all the way through, which are two of them specifically. We'll
Witcher
go with
2?
Ash, which
I know, I
are
know, I know. I'm messing
two.
with you.
I don't love the Witcher series. That's just me, though. So I'll start with Astro's Playroom. It's actually a pack-in, and it comes with a lot of neat little system introductions and breakdowns. It is an actual third-person platformer, I guess you would call it, in the sense that Astro, who's had two previous games with Astro's, what is that game called? It's the VR experience. It's Astro Bot Rescue Mission. That's what it's called, and that's actually a really great game. And then there was Astro something or another for the PlayStation 4 when it came out too. It was to introduce the controller. This one they went even more in depth, and it's a delightful little experience. Just to beat the game, it's only about a 2 hour process. I'd say overall, it's probably going to take you about 4 hours to platinum, which I did, and I think you could knock it out in a pretty easy afternoon, whatever the case may be. And
And
it's
when
one of
you
those
say
games.
you mean people that actually are good at video games, not like me.
Yeah, you're terrible, but it is. I think you could probably knock it
Like
out pretty quickly. It's
4?
actually it's an interesting situation. It's an introduction to the system, and actually goes through the console generation. So there's only 4 levels, and each level is broken up between the console generations: PlayStation 1, 2, 3, and 4, and it's kind of giving you a tour to the system. So there's one level specifically, and I can't remember the names of the levels off the top of my head, but one of them specifically is the the solid state drive, right? So the music in the background is like SSD. It's just a really cute explanation, and it's you play through it, you fight some little enemies, and there's just thousands of PlayStation nods and Easter eggs and winks throughout the entirety of the game. Like you'll find a spot where you just come across like Cloud's Buster Sword just sitting in the ground, or you walk by a couple of bots that are dressed up like Dante from Devil May Cry, and he's fighting with Virgil or whatever the case may be, and it goes from. I mean, I saw a Warhawk reference. I mean, literally just every possible game that you could imagine that has been prevalent on a PlayStation system is represented in this video game.
Now,
So
have you experienced any of the storage issues that people have been talking about, like some freezing, um, stuff like that?
the only complication I've had in the entirety of my system, I guess I would say it's been two issues. The first one has been I've experienced one hard crash in a video game, and it just popped up saying, "Hey, do you want to report this error?" And that happened on the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 3.
It
It's something,
happens.
yeah, it's something that happens. So I don't think that that's anything specific to the PlayStation 5. The only other one, which is a weird bug, but for some reason, if you charge your controllers while it's in sleep mode, it'll only charge them to the second bar versus the third bar. And I have seen that happen because I'll have it plugged in overnight, and then whenever I turn it back on, it's only getting up to the second bar,
Must be
which is
some kind
just
of like power save feature. That should be just like a firmware driver update if they're
right.
aware of it, if you make them aware of it, because that seems kind of, I mean, put all 5 amps or whatever they want on that USB port and let it go.
But other than that, I personally haven't had any issues. I've heard tons of reports about things like the actual system being in sleep mode has been like corrupting saves, but I've heard that more specifically tied to video games, like certain video games. So I don't think that it's a regular occurrence, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, the only other thing that I've read about it that's negative for the PS5 was that, and this isn't on PS5. This is on EA Active Blizzard or whatever they want to call them. The new Call of Duty,
Sure.
um, the Cold War. So apparently you have to opt into the PS5 version. If you just go with the standard basic feature, you get the PS4 version. And I was like, well, that's dumb. But
I will admit, and I'm still kind of confused because I'm currently playing through Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and
hmm
I bought the PlayStation 4 copy, which also comes with the upgraded PS5 copy.
yeah,
Um, I didn't even realize you could buy it with the print on the box of the PS5, so you wouldn't have this complication. But I did buy it with the PS4, pre-ordered it, got what I got. But either way, um, like for instance, Sackboy: A Big Adventure, which is a game that I'm playing with my children, it did download both the PS4 and the PS5 version, and then I had to go in and delete the PS4 version. So it's just weird, and it's a button click to swap between them. So if you pay any attention, you're not going to run into that complication. But with that in mind, it's a weird thing, like the Xbox specifically, which I don't have at this point, but they have the I can't remember. Smart delivery is what it's called. So it's just if you play on the Xbox Series X and you put a game in the system, it's automatically going to play the best version that it can of that game for you.
yeah, I just don't. So I here's the deal. Got some super fast storage. All right, people complain about how much drive space they got. I don't remember what the standard was when you got the PS4. Was it 500 gigs?
The original was 500.
Yeah, so we're on same par, right, for a
It's
launch
better.
console.
It's
It's
better,
faster.
but not by much.
Well, yeah, it's a little bit better, but I mean, you people are already complaining because the games are a lot larger because there's better details, there's high resolution details, So we're looking at bigger game titles. Why would they allow these games to install using up more space when that's already the most valuable resource for these consoles?
Yeah, I don't think it's automatically going to download. You have to opt to download both versions. So I think that was a misnomer on my part, but I think it's a pretty
You
quick
think
and
it's an
simple
opt
fix.
out
Yeah.
instead of an opt in to get them?
Yeah, you select what you download. So whenever you buy the game, it says, do you want to download X, Y, or Z? And then if you select download all, you don't realize that PS4 version is in that pack of all. So
Yeah,
that
you're
is,
like
again,
I want the bundle. I got a couple add-on packs. I've got the
right.
that's what you're yeah.
Yeah,
That's a shame.
it's 850 gigs of storage, which I think is a very, very small amount in this day and age, especially considering like a Call of Duty is 820. I'm
Uh,
sorry, 120.
well, I mean like okay, so comparatively to that, yes. But if you're looking at like solid state storage, I don't know anybody like there's nobody in my inner circle that has a 2 terabyte solid state storage, SATA or M.2, for NVMe. I don't know anybody that has a 2 terabyte solid state drive. I only have a 500 gigabyte NVMe. I was an early adopter, and a 500 gigabyte SATA SSD. Now the hard drive I have is 2 terabyte.
Hmm.
Um, but I mean like that's not flash storage because it gets
Pretty
pricey.
pricey. And
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest problem that we run into with the PlayStation 5 is if they had any kind of expandable storage options, then I think it would eliminate a lot of those problems, which right now there literally is none.
Yeah,
There are
there's
some
none. Yeah.
there are some like third party uh, external hard drives that you can utilize, but it's not necessarily a compatible system. It's not going to run your
It's
games
not
as fast.
compatible
It's
with
not
the
good.
PS5 games. It's only compatible with the PS4 games. And they
Right.
said that you should be able to put in an NVMe drive, but that feature is disabled right now. So even
And
if you picked up
eventually it will be opened up. Yeah.
yeah, if you could go out and buy a 1 terabyte, $300 Samsung, the fastest NVMe drive on market, Western Digital also has that same read write speeds of like 7 gigabytes per second, but it's not compatible right now.
Right.
So be happy with
Well,
what you got and play
once
it.
they open all that, right now I'm not too upset. I did download like I don't know, something in the ballpark. I had like 7, 8 games on my system, and I only had about 100 gigs left. So I started. What I did is I went back and I deleted a few that I'm not going to be playing right now
Well, are
because
some
I
of those
don't.
PS4 titles?
Yes,
Well, I shipped you that Samsung drive.
yeah, and it will work. I just don't want to have to be transferring my data back and forth, and also
It's
it doesn't.
fast.
It also doesn't want to. It doesn't run the game off of those, so you'd have to transfer it back on. So there's no reason to download it. What actually is a
I thought you could play them from the external storage.
I don't believe so, but if you do, it doesn't take advantage of the solid state speeds. So, like for instance, I know the Xbox 3 or Xbox Series X specifically can be played off of the external storage, but it doesn't give you that lightning fast speed that you would have dealt with previously. Which for me, that's the biggest upgrade with dealing with the PS5. So if I can't get that speed, then I just don't even
It's
want to
not the
play the
4K
game.
graphics or anything. It's the
Yeah,
load times.
yeah, exactly. For me, it really is like that's not a joke. I have a situation I don't know in Assassin's Creed Valhalla specifically. I was playing it earlier and I died and I was reloaded back into the game within 3 to 5 seconds. Whereas
Yeah.
on the PlayStation 4, it takes about 30 to 45 seconds. Even just loading into the game, uh, like from boot up screen to into the game, it takes about 15 seconds. Whenever you're playing on the PS5, if you're playing on the PlayStation 4, it takes a minute to a minute and a half.
So you're
Which
talking sleep to game, sleep to game.
I'm talking like
It's
press
not.
X to start.
Yeah, sleep from the console being in sleep mode to booting into the game.
Minus now I'm not talking about like turning it on, getting to the X screen. I'm talking to the title screen, Valhalla,
Oh,
to
into your
running
save.
around into the world.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
you're talking about again a 15-second versus a minute and a half, and for me that speed is what is defining as this generation
Well, you
so
should
far.
use that Samsung drive. You should literally do a speed test. Maybe even make a video about it. Okay. Look up the specs for that USB drive. Make sure it's in a nice tight 3.1 slot, and then like have it on your storage right now where you have it. Time your load times in the PS4 version, and then swing it over to that USB drive, and then see what the difference is.
We'll
You know,
see.
I know
We'll see.
there's gonna be difference, but I want to see how much. Like, is it 3, 4, 5 seconds? Because that's still solid state USB to you know
Well,
straight on NAND flash.
they've made the onboard storage extremely accessible, so it's just a matter of time before they come up with some kind of a drive that is going to work or open that option up.
Well, it'll be
Um,
the NVMe, man.
which, as soon as they give me expandable storage space, I'm going to opt in.
You're gonna buy one of those bad boys.
Oh, for sure. I mean, for me, it's worth at least $200. I would probably put another $200 into the system for some solid state storage just to get it a
Well,
little
let
bit
me
bigger.
know. Because the deal is we got to find out compatible drives,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
and then there are faster ones. I don't know if it'll matter. Like you could spend so like on the top tier, the Samsung Western Digitals that have the 7 GB read speed. They're like $300. Okay, they do come on sale, but you can get a PCI Gen 4, M.2 that's 5 GB per second read. Okay, if the PlayStation doesn't take advantage of the 7 GB speed, what's the purpose of even buying that in the PlayStation? So you go down to the $160 drive instead of the $300 drive because the extra 2 GB per second makes no difference in the PlayStation. I would like those kinds of specs.
This is a silly question, but can you run two drives, like two solid state drives? So if I had my 850 gig solid state drive installed, I'm not saying with the PlayStation specifically, but let's just talk about a PC,
Hmm.
and I installed another 500 gig solid state drive, can those be compatible together?
Yeah, you can combine them.
So
So just like okay, so like this right here is a Motorola Android phone. Okay, it has internal storage
yeah,
inside of it, chips on it. I have an SD card reader. I bought a really nice SD card, super fast, plugged it in inside of Android, and I said, hey, add as internal storage. So the device sees it as one drive, one capacity, and installs on that. So hopefully PlayStation allows the same thing. You don't get because it would be easier not to pick and choose, and you just like let the OS do all the managing of the data.
and if that's not the case, I think that would be a good expansion option for a redesign or whatever the case might come with that console. Because if I could invest in a $150 500 gig or 1 terabyte, whatever the case
Oh,
is,
those are terabytes, baby.
so if you get a terabyte of 100 for $150, then I can put that in there on top of my 850 gig, and that would be substantial. That's
Yes.
appropriate. Whereas if I have to replace it and go with something, because I don't necessarily want to replace it with a single terabyte, because even that's going to fill up pretty quickly in this day and age.
Yeah.
I mean, if you download Grand Theft Auto, Call of Duty, and Red Dead Redemption 2, then you've literally eaten up a third of your terabyte.
Now, would you be okay if they made you select? Do you want to do this on A or B drive?
Yeah,
When
that would
downloading, you're
help.
like, hey, you're downloading. Do you want to do A or B? Or hey,
Yeah,
there's not
that
enough storage on A. We're gonna install on B.
right. I wouldn't have a problem with that at all.
Yeah, just a single
Especially,
selection.
it, it's just wild to me right now. Like I said, we play Call of Duty Warzone, and then I put in there, Morales, Miles Morales, which is another game I played, which we'll get to in just a little bit. And that's a 55, 60 gig download. Like I said, I think I had something in the ballpark 8 or 9 games downloaded, and then I had a full drive, and I'm like, well, maybe I should delete a couple of these off here because I shouldn't just think in that mentality where I had a 2 terabyte hard drive on my PlayStation 4. So I had every game I ever wanted to play already installed on that and ready to go. But we'll see. We'll see. That's the biggest room for improvement that I have in this console so far. But
Capacity. You want to
just to
hoard
swing
those digits.
for sure. If I download it, I want it to be there. I will say this: the user interface and the menu specifically for re-downloads is very clean, very crisp, and I personally think it's even better than what you'd find in like a Steam library. It shows me every game I've purchased and or played all the way back to the first game I played on the PlayStation 4, so I
And
can
I would
scroll
like
all
to
the way
mention
through.
this too, because this is for Anjay Paw with the FCC and how he struck down net neutrality. Okay? We wouldn't have to worry about whether or not we actually have a game downloaded and whether or not we're going to go past our data cap for downloading another 180 gigabyte game, whether I can delete it and pick it up later or not purchase a brand new game and play it. That net neutrality, I'm telling you. I got words.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do. But just to circle back around real quick to Astro's Playroom, I think it's a game that everybody should play, especially if you jump into the PS5 because it's a pack-in, it's a free pack-in. It's not the most difficult game in the entire world, but it introduces the controller appropriately. It's literally a blast, in my opinion. Um, and honestly, if I had to rate this game on our scale, which is garbage, gauche, good, great, gaga, I think I would say it's a gaga experience.
Really?
Yeah, for what it is, it's
Good.
the price.
Good.
The price is perfect. The length is perfect. The platinum is an easily obtainable platinum if it's something that you care about. And I think it's something that they were to take this this little experiment and they were to expand upon it. I would happily spend 30 to 50, 60, $70 on a game like this if it was
Okay.
appropriately fleshed out.
Okay. I was like $5. $5 add-on.
In its form, I would have spent $20 on it and not felt upset.
Okay.
Which that's a conversation I want to get to in this, but let me go into Spider-Man Miles Morales real quick.
Okay.
I wanted to discuss kind of just the cost of games and things, but I'll jump off onto that in just a little bit more with Spider-Man Miles Morales, which I'm going to go into a little bit more detail on this one. So first of all, Spider-Man 2018, which was a game that was released for the PlayStation 4. Uh, Obviously, that game, in my opinion, is a gaga game. It's great if you appreciate an open world game, especially if you appreciate superhero games, especially if you appreciate Spider-Man specifically. It's a really great introduction and a nod to the character, et cetera, et cetera. But today I'm talking about, obviously, Spider-Man Miles Morales, which the great thing about the two being interconnected is 2018 Spider-Man does a great job of introducing Miles Morales in that world. You never really get to experience too much of his story, but it does the introduction in the sense that spoilers, his dad dies during one of the missions with Spider-Man, and that's why he becomes what he becomes, and he ends up getting the spider bite. And
Does Spider-Man
Spider-Man,
bite him?
yes, he does. He's a nibbler. No, he gets bit by a spider, and
Where are
then
these radioactive spiders coming from?
just all over the
Are
place.
they
I don't actually.
breeding? Are they making
Yep.
more?
hmm hmm I actually don't remember especially well how Miles Morales gets a hold of one, but I know it's in the real world. He just happens upon one, I believe. I can't remember. But this game specifically, um, in reality, the length of the story is probably only about 6 to 8 hours. If you're playing directly through it without experiencing any of the side quests, you can knock it out really, really quickly, which again, I have no problem with that. The side quests, and I get the platinum in this game as well. Altogether, it was about a 20-hour experience. So going in, playing from beginning to end, and you have to beat the game twice to get the platinum. So I beat the game twice. I got all the side quests. I got all the upgrades and everything, and I did it in roughly 20 hours.
Man, quarantine sounds like a bitch.
Yeah, isn't it rough? That was one of the positives to my COVID quarantine situation is I
But
actually was
not
able
the
to play
COVID,
through some
not
games.
positive to COVID.
But I didn't have COVID, so that makes it even
Positive
better.
experience. That's what he's
Positive
talking about.
experience to quarantining. Um, but the thing about it is, and that's the conversation that we can have once I wrap this up, is the cost of the game is $50, which they've been going in a really strange direction of increasing some of their games and not all their games. So, for instance, Demon Souls is the remake is a $70 release for PlayStation 5, whereas Sackboy: A Big Adventure is a $60 experience for the PS5 and PS4. And then you have Miles Morales, Spider-Man Miles Morales, which is a $50 experience for the PlayStation 5 and the PlayStation 4. So again, the conversation that is to be had is exploring the entire spectrum of the pricing and really kind of landing in a sweet spot and a length spot, which before we get into that, I just wanted to finish up my quick review of Spider-Man Miles Morales. The story is absolutely fantastic. The fluidity, the controls, the combat is absolutely fantastic. I really generally have no complaints about this game, and with the exception of a few mild uh, technolo- technological issues, like for
Hmm.
instance, his on two separate occasions, Miles's voice cut out completely. So there were parts that you're swinging through and he's just not talking, which he's always kind of quipping and having conversations, which is weird. So I had to do a reset and it worked fine again. But I blame the game, not the system, for those kinds of things. Because if I can remember right, the exact same thing happened in Spider-Man 2018 for me. Um, Small amount of villains in this game, but the ones that you get to deal with are actually pretty neat. And as far as I can remember, and mild spoilers for the game, I think there was only one new villain that was introduced in this game in any capacity, but the way that they did it is very different than what the comic books had dealt with. And I think it's a very interesting concept, and the story zigs and zags in ways that you don't necessarily expect it to. Well, nope, there's two villains that are introduced into this game. And the second one is, again, very ziggy and zaggy. I really like it, the way that they handle it. So, in
That's
my
not the name of
opinion,
the villain.
I won't say ziggy and zaggy.
Zigzag.
No, there is a villain in the first game, which I thought was pretty cool, and I believe that her name was Speedball or something along those lines, which is a very a newer villain for the Spider-Man mythos, and I thought it
Hmm.
was cool that they introduced her in Spider-Man 2018. But it was just a side mission; it wasn't a main thing. It was really neat how they did it. So, with that being said, I'm gonna have to probably put this one at a Gaga as well. I think for the experience, the length, and what it is, I loved it. The biggest complaint that people have been having about it is that it's more of a glorified DLC scenario, considering the length and the fact that you're still in Manhattan, et cetera, et cetera. But I think, and this is where our conversation can kind of jump off, I love this kind of experience. If you want to sell me a 30, 40, $50 Spider-Man game that's got an experience that's 5 to 10 hours and give it to me every 2 years and not change much of anything about the game, I'm on board. I'll take it 100% of the time. I just don't know if I need all of these, like Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I don't need a dozen of these 150 plus hour experiences for 60, $70 every single month of a year. I just don't have 100 to 150 hours to dump into a video game every month. And it just makes me play through enough of the game to go, yeah, I'm going to be done with this and move on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I
So,
mean, Shadow
go
of
ahead.
War.
Yeah, Shadow of War is not a long game. You just suck at video games. It's taking you an eternity because you
Did
don't
you beat it?
invest. The game's terrible, John. The game is not good.
Listen, there are orcs in it. Plus 10. Done.
Yeah. Did you ever play Orcs Must Die?
I have both of them.
Have you played them?
I played maybe 30 minutes of the first one.
So not good.
I It's a
So not
tower defense game, sorta. I've got
Ah,
to play more of it, but it's not one of those like it wasn't what I wanted at the time. I wanted some depth, but yeah, you're just a wizard in like this dungeon or whatever, and you got to set up booby traps and defend the portal because you don't want the orcs to come through. So
so real quick again, I'll say it. I like the idea of a varied experience, but in my day and age with two children, a wife, a full-time job, et cetera, et cetera, I have a hard time saying I'm going to invest 100 and 150 hours into a game. It's got to really grip me. I can't think of any storyline to game that I would just I say I've spent 100+ hours in. So how do you fall on that idea? Like exploring the price spectrum, how long do you like your games to be?
So I find it hard for a game to have that much playable hours and have like in depth. I'm not too big of a side quest person, and I'll tell you why. Because if I'm focused on the main quest, the main mission, I'm not gonna stop and help everybody tie their freaking shoes. There's games where like, hey, you're trying to stop this big bad guy, but you run into this street market lady, and she needs help catching all her rabbits. Why the hell am I gonna help her? I'm trying to save the kingdom. Whatever her rabbit's gonna do. All right.
Yeah,
So
something like
there.
that happens in every single one of these games.
So why
Well,
do they even
open
put it
world
in there?
games.
Why do they even put it in there? Maybe you can make it a post. Like maybe you enjoy the world. You really want to explore the world after you do the main mission, then allow all those side missions to be there. But honestly, I'm not going to spend 140 hours in a single game. If I'm going to beat the main story, I want to beat the main story. I'm done. I move on. I get a little time to decompress to move on from the game. Then you come out with an update or a patch like in StarCraft. They used to add on those little deals like, okay, now we got to fight the Brood War Queen. Here's another. There's a continuation of the story, but I've had time to move on. So now I want some more of that back. I miss those good feelings, and I'm willing to pay $40 or $50 for the main one, and then $30 for an add-on that has in-depth story. So they'll milk me a little bit more for my money to play the game.
See, I don't mind the idea of putting the side quests in there because they're exactly that. And like Miles Morales specifically, the way that it works out is actually really interesting because you get into the world as open world. You have a main mission, you might have a side quest mission, but then as you go throughout the city, swing on your webbing, whatever, you have random bits of violence that pop up all over the city. And in those scenarios, it doesn't necessarily operate as a side mission. It's just, do you want to stop down there and break up this robbery or whatever the case may be? And if you do, you get a little extra XP that you can work towards upgrading your gadgets, unlocking suits, and things of the sort. So it's really neat in the sense that those aren't required. But as a Spider-Man, which this is the neatest part of the game, is I'm a big fan of Spider-Man. But as I'm swinging through and I see a crime breakout, I'm like, oh, Spider-Man wouldn't ignore these missions. I've got to help these people, so I'm going to stop and I'm going to take care of them. So those aren't side quests as much as they are just random encounters in the environment. They have an app.
I'm fully aware of random encounters.
Yeah, of course you are.
I played
You went to
Pokemon.
college. No, I'm just kidding. Um, but in this game, he has a phone with an app where random people are asking for his help. So you're able to go help them, and it might be something like breaking ice off of a crane or locating a lost car or whatever the case is. And those kind of some of them are real simple and small. Some of them expand to something much bigger and greater. Which it's neat how they introduce those because it doesn't make it so you can completely put it on the back burner because in between a couple of the missions, I think two or three of the missions throughout the main story, which I think there's like 12 missions, you're forced to do one mission, one side quest in between. So it kind of expands the length of the game to some degree. And as a person playing it immediately after beating it, I didn't love it because I'm like, okay, I just want to bounce through this main storyline and get that platinum and move on, which I'm not a huge platinum whore, but I do appreciate it whenever it's obtainable. I'm like, okay, I'll put the extra couple hours into it. We can go into all that stuff a little bit later on a different conversation. Um, but I think they introduce these side quests appropriately and intelligently in this game. And the same thing for Assassin's Creed Valhalla, although I'm only 20 hours into that game or whatever the case may be. Um, they are the side quests are there specifically as all optional material, optional content. Just like what you're saying, though, one of them specifically was, "Hey, I have a rat problem. I need you to help me figure out how to solve this." And you're like, "I'm a fucking Viking, pillaging
Yeah, call the
villages.
Orchid Man or
Yeah,
whatever.
figure it out yourself." Which all you do is you go over to talk to this other lady, get her key, and then you unlock her house that gives you cats that then eliminate the rodent problem.
Done. Now
I know. I
the
now
lady's
I'm
gonna
on
call
board.
back that her cats are gone.
You're like, "Oh, I love this." So I don't know though.
PS5 add to cart.
Exactly. I just think it's a world where as to go back to our original topic, I want these experiences to be a little bit more truncated. I appreciate the options to be able to invest in an open world, uh, but I don't know that I need it to be 100 hours.
I don't need an open world either. I don't. I like
But
to
if you,
watch movies. I like to read books. I haven't read a book in a while, but like for
forgot how to read
pleasure, um, those are very
pornography.
linear worlds. You're kind of stuck. It'll jump to different storylines, but you're stuck in that aspect. What's going on right there, and you have a hand to guide you, and it's the author or the director. This game, if I've got like 30 or 40 developers making all these little side quests, it's too chaotic. I don't need that in my life, okay? I don't need it. It's like going to Walmart. I don't need that in my life. Getting
Wait, you
yelled
don't need
at
to
for
go to
scanning
Walmart?
one device. No. Shoot, we got a new Aldi. We got two Aldis in town now, okay? We're fly. We're fly.
Why would you have two Aldis in that
We
town?
got that. Dude, people drive from all over the place to come to Aldi. The one in Carthage sucks. All right? Sucks city. Now Joplin's got two.
I guess if you need them, you need them.
Need him? We got him. We got him.
You need them and you got them. So,
Got
John,
him. Booze section.
that's just a taste of what's been entertaining me this week. Do you have anything else that has been entertaining you?
Just watching season 1 Mandalorian with my lady.
Go into that a bit. Like, tell us what you think.
About season 1
No, yeah. Oh, you're watching season one with her.
with her to catch up.
Gotcha.
Season
So you're
2,
on episode 4 of season 2, right?
3 or 4, yeah. I haven't watched the last one, so I'm behind, I
Why?
guess. Um, my brother's car accident, so we put that on pause. We put that on pause because we watch it as a group. I could watch it anytime, but we got that on pause.
Gotcha. So
Uh,
you just got re-upped for Disney Plus then, huh?
yeah, the wife loves me, and so she picked it up, added it onto the old Hulu account. So now we got the ESPN Plus, which I haven't even looked at.
Makes sense. I was actually surprised. I just got charged for Disney Plus today, and I was like, wait, what the crap is this $73 Apple charge? And then I saw it was Disney Plus. I was like, oh, okay, I guess.
On Apple, you bought it through
Yeah,
Apple?
I guess we bought it through Apple. I don't know.
Yeah, but then that means that like 30% of what you pay to Disney goes to Apple.
I don't care. I have Apple phone. I like Apple.
You don't have to pay through. I don't get it. But anyhow,
It doesn't
whatever.
make a difference to
I go
me.
to a website and I pay out of my accounts.
So how do you feel about season 2 so far?
Season 2, I think it's pretty good. I'm not really sure how those ice spiders got on there because I've watched the Rebel series, and the last time I saw those spiders, spoiler alert, was on a desert planet. And so I'm not really sure. I mean, like, maybe somebody's transferred, spiders. And maybe they're not spiders, but they look like spiders to me. Bugs generally do not do well in the cold. This is an ice planet. I don't get it. I do appreciate those, like, typical cop X-Wing guys. Have you seen that episode? Spoiler
I haven't.
alerts then.
No,
Spoiler
I haven't. I
alerts.
haven't. I haven't watched any of the second season. I didn't even make it through the first season because I didn't particularly enjoy the show.
Well, I enjoy it. I'm a nerd. Uh, Anyway, the two douchebag police officer X-wing pilots that save them, definitely a great thing. I do. So I have mixed feelings about. So there's a big hoopla on the internet. You might read it, where Baby Yoda steals and eats the eggs of Frog Lady, embryo Frog Lady, and this is her last time to produce kids or something like this. Maybe for this cycle. I'm not really. I have to rewatch the episode to remember the dialogue because it was just like a one-liner. But she needs to get to her husband. Her husband went to a different planet without her, maybe for monetary reasons, to start a new life so they could have family. So she's got strapped to her back a tank with all her eggs in it, which are just embryos. They're not fertilized as far as I'm done. So technically, it would be like you eating a chicken leg. I mean, it's an intelligent species, so I'm not really sure. It's in the future. I don't know how people view things. Kids are dumb. Genocide. I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it. Those are potential babies for maybe a dwindling species, and we're letting this bratty, force-wielding kid eat him. Smack his hand,
Yeah.
and he'll force choke you.
As he does, because he's like the most powerful. Is that Yoda? Did we figure that out yet?
We don't know that yet if that's a clone of him or not. So there's action in this series. I really do appreciate it. I hope they bring back some of the stars that I really enjoy, like Bo-Katan's niece. I can't remember her name. It starts with an S. Um, yeah, I forget. Anyway, that Mandalorian girl. Well, she'll be a woman now. They're bringing back Boba Fett, so I hope I get to see his old butt. And I also hope they bring in like maybe I bet you they'll do it at the end of the season where like the Mandalorian Mando he ends up meeting Ahsoka Tano, so which was Anakin Skywalker's a Padawan, and yeah, I really did enjoy her character.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, no, I enjoy the season. Hopefully, it will fulfill my needs.
So far though, you think it ranks above, on par, lower than season one?
Let me get a couple more episodes under my belt. I do feel like the storyline is because well, yeah, I don't know. We'll find out. We'll find out.
Mm.
I think it is on par. Well, so far it's on par with season one. No, it's a little better. It's actually a lot better. Okay, so we'll say the first season was good. This one so far is great. Okay,
3 episodes in, yeah.
3 episodes in.
Hmm.
Especially the one where they're back on Tatooine. That's a great episode. Like it's a really good episode. So
Well,
does that help you
fantastic.
out?
Yeah, I'm glad that you're having a good time with it.
Yeah.
I think we can end on this. I watched a movie, or have been watching a movie. Actually, I just finished it last night. As I've told you before, I have a tendency to watch movies over the course of a couple
Drifting
of
off to sleep.
evenings.
Yeah.
So I fall asleep. I pick it up where I left off, and I decided to tap into this oldie but a goodie. It's Old School. I'm
The
assuming you have seen
the
Old
movie
School.
Old School.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is a 2003 Todd Phillips directed movie starring Luke Wilson, Vince Vaughn, and Will Ferrell.
Mm-hmm.
And for my
Frank
money, I
the
think it's,
Tank.
yeah,
Frank the
exactly.
Tank.
I think it's one of the best comedies
Dude, it's
that
great.
exists.
It's great. Isn't that the one where they have the guy who's supposed to be doing the rings and he's like, "Ugh," and he's got like a cigarette in his mouth?
Yeah,
So
he
he's like,
does them. He does them. He's just like straight up, and he's just got the cigarette.
yeah.
It's such a it's such a perfect movie in the sense that it goes from scenario to scenario. It plays very much like a skit comedy. So it gives you a funny scenario to a funny scenario to a funny scenario, but it all melds and flows so beautifully. And of course, Todd Phillips has directed, in my opinion, some great movies. Like he directed Road Trip, and he directed The Hangover. He
Mm-hmm.
directed Joker. When was
Pineapple
that
Express.
last? I think it was last year. He didn't direct that.
I know, but that's still great.
That is a great movie. Um,
The one aspect of that old school movie that does get at me a little personally is Vince Vaughn's trying to be like his infidelity. So
yeah,
I don't like
that
that.
was
That's a turn off for me.
that was something that actually rang true to me last night too. I got to that part. He's actually it was interesting because he is obviously opening himself up, but he is trying to be faithful to his wife because it gets to the point where a girl kisses him and then he immediately tells her, "Hey, look, I can't do this. I'm married." And then he's like, "But why don't you leave me your phone number so that way if something doesn't work out there, then I can give you a call." She's like, "Yeah, I don't think so." So it's played very humorously in the sense that he's an honest man or trying to be an honest man, but at the same time recognizing that he's in a long-term marriage that hey may not end that well, especially because Frank the Tank specifically has been married for a matter of days, and that thing is falling apart at the seams. That scene where he's at the wedding, and he's like, "You're making a huge mistake, Frank. You need to walk away." He's like, "What are you talking about? Like I'm standing right here getting married." He's like, "Look at the baby, look at the baby. Walk away while you can."
Yeah.
It's so good. It's so good. I mean, there's scene after scene after scene. that's just perfect. And there's a couple of them that read like it's kind of a weak, silly sophomoric joke, and it doesn't feel like it fits, but it moves from at a clip that you just don't even it doesn't even register. You just move on. So I love it. I love it. You're my boy, Blue.
Yeah,
The soundtrack's great. The ensemble cast is great. I think it just nails it.
it
So
is. It's definitely a great movie. I really do enjoy it.
so I think I have to give this one. I know I've been on the Gaga train
You
tonight, but
have been. It's kind of what is going on?
it's kind of
You've been in
it's kind of sick.
quarantine too much. You need to get out there and find things that are better or worse and adjust your evaluation,
Well,
sir.
you know what it is. It's weird because
You're
I
positive
was
person. You're just like,
yeah.
man, this is awesome.
Well, I what I've been doing was I actually laid down and I went, you know what, I'm gonna watch Midsommar. And I've seen the movie before, but I was like, I'm gonna give this movie another shot. I want to check it out. And then I saw Old School pop up, and I'm like, I think I'm gonna watch Old School instead.
Yeah.
And so it took me 3 nights to get through it. That's another thing. The movie is like just perfectly paced. It's like an hour 36, which is just perfect. It's
And
perfect.
because it has like those little comedic like skits or scenes, you can stop after those scenes and then pick it back up. That's great.
Exactly. I mean, it ends like a sketch comedy show, in the sense that it just goes. You watch a scene, it opens up a new door. It's literally like watching 3 episodes of a great television show.
Yeah. I'll
And
tell you. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, and it begins and ends each act exactly perfectly. So,
So, with all this new technology coming out, I have been looking at the new graphics cards from Nvidia and AMD.
oh, you're gonna buy it?
No, I didn't buy them. I'm gaming on a 1080p TV and a 1080p monitor.
Mm.
Um, but I'm looking at these new graphics cards. I'm like, man, they're so sweet. But I'm not gonna benefit from them so much because I need a screen. So I am looking. I'm in the market. I'm on the Amazon, the new eggs. I'm all over the internet
How
looking at.
much the monitor, right?
Yeah, I found a 27-inch curved gigabyte monitor, 2K, 1440p at 165 hertz with a 1 millisecond response time for 290.
That's not
So
too bad.
it's not too bad. That's great specs. The Asus Tough monitor equivalent is about 300 bucks. But I'm gonna wait a little bit. I don't need it today. I'm doing pretty good. Um, Paying off the wife's car and the other debts, buying Taco Bell. So you know how I do
There's
with
other
the
things you
hot
need to invest
sauce.
in before you get a new monitor and a graphics card, right? You got to get that treadmill so you can keep the run through the winter, you
Dude,
know?
I need to. I mean, we've been blessed with some great weather, so I've been doing it on the lunch breaks. Not today though.
I
But
got to go
yeah,
run outside today. That was fun.
huh?
I got to go run outside today, and that was fun.
Yeah, I think I would have died or been late back to work for my lunch break because it was so windy today. It's been crazy. This cat's gonna eat this cable. No, no. Yeah, so I guess we could wrap it up
You
if you'd
say
like,
no.
James. I say no. Hell no.
You say
Don't
no, but
touch
the
me
cat.
there. That's my no square. That's my no square 'cause it's got no hair 'cause I shave.
That's enough of
I
that.
shave.
So with that being said, John, I guess we can wrap up this episode of the Nobody Entertainment Podcast. Normally, I would kick it to you for a little bit of advice, but I've been looking through these Taco Bell packets, and the majority has a tendency of saying, and I think this is what we can end our show on, and I'm hoping you can read this,
All
but
right, there's a glare. There's too much of a glare.
it says yes to forever.
Here's John Ockert's advice for the evening, okay?
No, it's
Play with
yes
your
to forever.
sticks, not your dicks. Or
Have a
both.
good
I don't
week.
care. I
Have a
mean,
good week, guys.
bye.